like me? We don't give a fuck.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, King Steph, a.k.a. Vanessa Williams, a.k.a. Glowy Kardashian, a.k.a. the Clapback Queen, a.k.a. with the soul I have, I'll always win. And welcome to Bitches Like Us. For the rest of the year, we'll be having a guest host on every damn episode. And today, we have a very special bad bitch joining us on the show, Sakara Barnes, a.k.a. Lil Griselda.
Hey.
So excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So tell us a little bit about you.
So I am a cannabis entrepreneur. I am one of the 2, maybe 3% of Black female cannabis entrepreneurs, owners in the business.
Yep.
So I'm very proud to say that.
We're proud of you.
Thank you. I'm from New York.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. You know the vibes. We outside.
I love my New York people on the show.
Yes, for sure. You know we're going to rep real hard.
So hard.
So I'm from New York. I am single. What else?
Little plug out there.
Just for the guy. Yeah, pretty much I'm an entrepreneur and no kids, just my business is my baby.
I feel you.
I own a cultivation company and own a distribution facility as well. So and a brand called Mother Exotic Flower.
So exciting. We're going to get into all of that. But first, we're going to kick off today's show and every show with a shot and a toast. We are drinking Henny White to celebrate. And what should we toast to?
We should toast to a bright, happy future.
Okay.
For sure.
For sure. Cheers.
Cheers.
I know. That's definitely more than a shot, but it'll work. Okay, so
I usually sip my shots.
Not today.
I'm going to sip. I'll be like, sip. Like,
no.
So I got another part.
You got another little bit.
Another little bit.
No sipping on Bitches Like Us. So let's get right into it with Bitch Slap.
Bitch, you thirsty, please grab Sprite.
Gatorade me, bitch.
Bitch Slap is our segment where we talk about who needs to get their ass beat this week. For me this week, it's sassy motherfuckers on the internet, sassy men. Like, I'm tired of sassy men in general, but on the internet specifically because y'all can't get punched in the mouth. So basically, I posted this little video. This man harassed me in the street. It was this little Latino man, which is like literally what he was. And he was like, "Oh, you're thick as fuck." Like, just it was too much. And I was like, "Are you mentally well? Like, are you okay?" And it like stunned him, and he laughed. And I thought it was like such a good, like, I'm gonna say that to everybody now. So I put this shit on TikTok. This shit now has, I don't even have followers on TikTok yet. I do now. This shit has over like 145,000 views, and like all the incels came out to play and like complain. Oh, like you think you're so good that someone can't talk to you, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, bro, or you're racist. And I'm like, how? Like, how, bro? Mm-mm. But it was just a mess, and it was just an annoying thing to wake up to. And it's just men, like literally picking at everything.
I feel like the internet right now just allows people to feel like they can have an opinion about everything and everyone. And yeah, like, you know, back in the day, people would call you on the street and blah, blah. And obviously that's probably, I never had a big booty, so I know that's probably annoying in general. But like, y'all can't, like, don't talk to me. Like,
I know.
Like, there's no.
But he was weird vibes too.
Yeah.
But like, why are you even talking to me? And so some of the men were like, well, you could have just said thank you and kept it moving. And I'm like, he could have just shut the fuck up and kept it moving. You didn't have to talk to me. But it's just like the audacity of men. So those are kind of who needs my bitch slaps. So like 145,000 bitch slaps out to TikTok. What about you? Who needs their ass beat this week?
I definitely agree with you on the men aspect.
Always.
I feel like men are just out of line right now. Like, we are clearly bosses.
Yes.
Like, we're clearly like beautiful. There's so many intelligent women. There's too many women that I see right now that are single.
And high value. Beautiful,
women.
smart, ambitious, good people.
Exactly.
Educated.
Spiritual. Like, there's just so much, like, that I'm seeing, good aura, like, too many of them. Like, I have too many friends and too many associates that I'm meeting, and I'm like, oh, wow. Like, and we're all just, like, not being valued by these men. Like, what's happening?
Oh, Lord,
so
girl.
I feel like in general, men need a waking up. They need
a revamp.
A real slap in the face, because they just are not like understanding what's going on. Like,
I agree.
They're not loving
I just
us
had to cut
the way
someone off that like I cut off a million times, and it's just so annoying. I wish you could do like a factory reset on these niggas. You know what I mean? Like, just hold the button and then y'all could get it together.
So I blame the internet for that. I probably blame TikTok for that too. Like,
all that.
Just
Kevin Samuels.
Fuck
y'all.
R.I.P.
No.
He lives in my head rent free, because he literally, I'd be like, dang, do I gotta like just settle and chill?
Oh, hell
like,
no.
am I supposed to relax?
We gonna talk about that another day, because there's no fucking way. Kevin Samuels, listen, I can't.
He made me feel bad.
I hate him so much. I had like a whole episode I could have done, and then he died. So I'm like, oh, we can't even roast you the way we wanna.
I know.
But it's all good. Fuck that.
He gave us gems though sometimes.
He's a whole fraud though.
Really?
There's a clip of him saying like, oh, if you say controversial things, like you'll get more viewers. But he doesn't actually even agree with that shit. So all these incels out here looking at him as like a patron saint. Yeah. This nigga was playing everybody. But it's all good. Me. Yeah, he did. No, we're gonna revamp you too, because fuck all that. So we're on to our next segment, Pop Off. This is our pop culture segment. We're going to touch on a few news stories this week. So we took a break last week. There are 7 victims right now in the Stockton serial killer homicides. I don't know if you heard about this. Shit is crazy. Just random shootings. And now they're saying that they may be linked to Chicago's Duck Walk killer, which were like 2 random shootings as well. I just think it's crazy. The search is now nationwide, but I just think it's crazy that we have a serial killer in 2022 when there's like cameras on every corner, everywhere. How do you, and social media, just everything. Like, how do you even pull this off? You know what I mean?
Well,
in this day and age.
I think it's definitely easier now because of social media. I think like it's
to be a serial killer?
Yeah, to like pull people in and get people like.
No, but these are random people. He's just walking around shooting people at night who are like alone. I feel like it's harder to be a serial killer because of all the forensics and the technology and the camera. I feel like you walk to fucking Starbucks and you pass 40 cameras. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
It's craziness.
I agree with you in a sense, like we should be able to solve it quicker. But then because, you know, like since we all be like defund, well not all, but some people are like defund the police. I feel like the police try to make a statement now of like, well, we just gonna sit back and let y'all solve the problem.
They were sitting back before defund the police. They're lazy as hell. They don't do shit. I'm a defund the police ass bitch as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll stay posted on that story, but it's kind of crazy to me.
Did it happen after like they released the Jeffrey Dahmer thing?
No, it was before that.
Okay, because I'm like, are they getting inspired by this guy? I thought that
too. Like, so people are so sick. They'll watch that stuff and they'll be, like you said, inspired. And it's like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
It's mental illness.
It is. In other mental illness news, an Ohio man who federal authorities say planned to slaughter nearly 3,000 women at a local university in 2020 has pleaded guilty to an attempted hate crime. So he identifies as an incel, of course, which is an involuntary celibate, which means like, I don't get any pussy, but I'd like some. And he had active online profiles that supported the incel movement. Pretty much, I feel like this is the type of dude.
I didn't even know that this was a thing.
I wish I didn't know this was a thing. This is like, I want to say like 50% of my following. Just niggas that hate women. The Justice Department describes the incel movement as an online community predominantly of men who harbor anger towards women. You really got up out of your bed and, you know, let me kill 3,000 women. That's like a small town. Did he actually
do? Or he attempted?
No. He had planned it and then he was like foiled in his little attempts. But it's just crazy to me. And this whole movement, I feel like it's like very much this like red pill movement, Kevin Samuel. You know what I mean? Like it's
like women against men. It's like a lot of like.
Yeah. It's too much. And it's like, maybe if you didn't spend your time online circle jerking each other about how much women suck, you'd get pussy because like, you know what I mean? Like you'd be, you know, getting a job, getting off your mom's couch, whatever it is. That shit was crazy. We were going to touch on Kanye and his White Lives Matter, but I'm done with it. Like, I'm over it.
You're over it?
I'm over it.
I know he just keeps doing more and more.
He needs
I don't know.
therapy.
Yeah, it's a mental. I personally feel like it's a mental illness.
100%.
Like that plus celebrityism, like that kind of like
Celebrity culture.
inflames, like, you know, whatever mental issues you have going on. So I can't fully blame him, but 50% clearly is him trying to get attention, trying to get his sales off, trying to do whatever, and just misinformation that he's spreading. Like, he's going through a lot, and somebody definitely does need to help him.
He needs to take his goddamn medication is what he needs to be doing. And I say that with no shade. Like, they prescribed it to you for a whole reason. But
or smoke some weed.
Right.
Like, calm down.
Some other exotic.
Like, for real.
He needs to chill the fuck out. So we're not even going to get into him. But our last news story is relevant to you. Joe Biden recently pardoned thousands convicted of marijuana possession under federal law. This pardon clears everyone convicted on federal charges of simple possession since it became a crime in the 1970s, which is craziness, which is like 50 years, right? Currently, marijuana is in the same legal category as drugs like heroin and LSD. And a lot of people are like, what the fuck? So this is a direct quote. He said, even though white and black and brown people all use marijuana at similar rates, black and brown people are arrested and prosecuted and convicted at disproportionately higher rates. We know this. This is a long time coming, I feel like.
Yeah.
The states can make their own individual choices. So I'm sure
it's going to be a
thing, like in red states. But I think this is like a small step along the way. To
very minimal.
Very. But I expect like the floodgates to kind of open and so many people to be coming out for this because it's ridiculous.
Doubt it. I love the efforts. And my mom called me. She was like, did you? Because she's very, Joe Biden, you should have voted Joe Biden. And I'm like, you know, when it comes to politics, I'm very weary of promises and, you know, just like political ploys. Like, okay, the elections are coming up in November.
True.
Really soon, really close. Seems like, you know, an effort to try to say, hey, we're trying to do what we said we were going to do, you know. So there's a lot of verbiage that I read about that concerns me because it's like descheduling means that it's taken off of the list.
Right.
Rescheduling means that you're just going to reschedule it to another class of drugs. So it's not like you're taking it off and you're just going to allow all of these people who are in federal prison for major, and then you see the simple
possession. That's it. Not like, selling, not all the other things. You're right. Exactly. That is a great point. It's a good start, I think, though.
It definitely is. And, you know, you have to give like great job. Thank you for your attempt. But like, how far is this really going to go? Is this just something, again, to like pacify people and make it seem like you're doing something when you're really not? Because again, now we have to fight our state senator, like our governors and all this. And these are the people who, again, which I've read, they can't even really do much without like all this other legal, these other legal steps that they have to get through. That probably is going to be very combative for them to even release people. So we'll see when people are actually getting released and like when that's happening before I can really give that like a, we doing something.
Okay, we're going to give Joe Biden half a snap this week. Half a snap. I feel you. I love that. So we're moving on to our next segment. It's called Ask Me Anything, Bitch. So I keep saying we. I'm so used to, you know, having
a co-host.
Right. It's just me now, bitch. So there's a question I do every week, and it, you know, sometimes it's more introspective. Sometimes it's more lighthearted. Today's a little introspective. I'm going to ask you first. Let me know if you want a second to think about it.
Okay.
The question is, if you had 1 minute with your 16-year-old self, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to believe in every decision that you've made, but focus on you and not these niggas.
I love that.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Like, definitely, like, because I've lived and I've had so much fun, like, and, you know, through the way you definitely make bad decisions. I don't think that any decision I made was, like, horrible, but I could have fully engulfed in myself and really just believed more in myself instead of everyone else around me. And even, like I said, these guys, like, you know, like
men are such a distraction.
They are, especially at a younger age. Like that's kind of, we're boy crazy. Like that's all.
Right.
Well, I was boy crazy. I know. All I cared about was
I feel
boys.
like that was me when I went to college.
Yeah.
Like I turned the fuck up. So I feel you. I think those are really good ones. Anything else you would tell her?
Go hard. Stay going. Like, I mean, I went hard, but like, do that right now. Cause I would have been. No, I feel like I did good then. Like, I don't know. Just, stay away. Don't focus on them. Like,
I love
focus
this.
on you.
So what would I tell my 16-year-old self? I would say stop caring so much what other people think. Trust yourself. Yeah. Trust your intuition always. That's one of the major lessons I learned, like even in my 20s. Yeah. I would say talk to your dad. Like forgive him if you can. I'm probably real hard at 16. And I don't know. And also just like lean into the entertainment aspect because I feel like this was a possibility for me so many years ago. And I was just like, no, I'm going to have this traditional career, blah, blah, blah. I would say, bitch, go off. Yeah. And just follow that because it's popping for you. Yeah.
Did you forgive your dad?
I don't think so yet. My dad passed away in 2011. Oh, okay. So when I was 21. So at 16, we did not have a good relationship. At 16, it was like especially bad. And if I could go back, I would like warn myself. You know what I mean? Because you always regret that, even if it's not your fault. Yeah. So so that's why.
Still the conversation, you know. Like,
I would have been like, right. If we had this 1 minute. Yeah. But that's true. But I think little 16-year-old Steph would be proud. I think 16-year-old Sakara would be proud. Yeah. She'd be like, bitch, you're cool as fuck. I think about that all the time. I'm like, yo, this is the person I needed, which is always the goal. Yeah. Right. I like this question.
Me too.
Yeah. We're up to our main segment, the tea party. So today it's lit, literally, because we are talking about women, specifically Black women and women of color in the cannabis industry. So I have a few statistics, a few things. According to Business Insider, the cannabis industry is expected to balloon to $100 billion by 2030. Your eyes got wide. I saw it with the billion. Like. Fewer than 2% of cannabis entrepreneurs or CEOs are Black. Minority and women executive leadership has decreased in recent years. So it's around 22% as of 2021. In ownership leadership positions for women, in 2019, it was 36%. Cannabis companies with women in leadership roles are actually more profitable, I got this from your post, and produce more than twice the revenue per dollar invested than those without them. And that's from ArcView Group and the National Cannabis Industry Association. And then also, women are the fastest growing demographic of cannabis consumers. Yes. So there's a lot in there. Why do you think all of those things are? You're experiencing all of these firsthand, right?
So I do think naturally, if you want to get to the nitty gritty, selling drugs is like a guy thing.
True.
You know, like this is what we've always seen from, I said little Griselda, like Griselda Blanco was probably the only female that we've ever heard has done like comparable to the Pablos and the, you know, just like heavy like drug dealers, right? So then when you transition into a legal market, you have to also think about what's happening from a corporate standpoint, like outside of cannabis in just corporate America, period. Women are now, yes, we are definitely playing a part in leadership and becoming CEOs. And when we are becoming CEOs, clearly things are better. Right. But it's a slow pace. Before, we weren't even working. We were at-home moms and, you know, that was supposed to be our jobs. Now we're outside, we're working. So obviously just from America in general and what we represented as women, I think that plays a part of it. But I think that cannabis is a difficult industry. Like it's not like, but women definitely consume, and women weren't public about it, I think, before, because
I think there's like a little stigma around like women who are like potheads or smoke, you know? I think it's less so here in LA for sure. In New York, I think it still exists.
Yeah. I would say it's not cute. Like that's not cute to be, you know, smoking. Right. But no, I don't care what you think is cute. This helps my mental health. This helps my anxiety. This helps medically, like my medical issues, like whatever that is, or I want to chill. I don't want to think about nothing. That's me. I'm that type of person. Like, I just want to consume because I don't want to think about anything. At the end of my day, I want to relax. So yes, women are consuming more. And I definitely think that it, from a standpoint of like, just maintaining the business, it is really hard. So if you don't have funding, and I know finding funding as a female, like I was talking to my male counterparts when I was looking for investment. Right. And they were like, oh yeah, they gave me the confidence, because I'm like, oh, they're just literally talking about millions of dollars and acquiring, you know, millions of dollars for investments. They gave me the confidence. Oh, $2 million, that's all you need? Okay, we can get that easily. And I'm like, really? Like, we can just say this? Yeah. But it wasn't as easy for a female. So that is why it's like smaller percentages. And I think females are dropping out because they're like, yo, this is a headache. Y'all are a headache. The support is not the same. Right. You know, the guys, it's always a boys club. So it's a lot to it. I enjoy it, though. Yeah. I love the challenge, so I won't be going nowhere.
So obviously this is a male-dominated industry, as we've touched on. Talk to me kind of about what it's been like, or what it was like breaking into this industry, right? Because I was doing some research and I didn't know. Like, I was thinking about, you know, investment costs. Like, oh, what does this cost? I didn't know it was as much as it is. Yeah. So maybe like, what are the steps, right? Because I don't know that much. I smoked more the past 2 years I've lived in LA than I have in my entire life. So I'm new to the lifestyle. But like, different steps of the process. You need growers. Like, who do you need and how much money do you need to get started? What was it like?
So it depends on which sector of the business you're getting in. Okay. So I got into cultivation and distribution. Distribution is a lot less capital upfront, because what you're doing with the distribution license is, well, in California, you can't sell, like the cultivator, who grows, you can't sell your product straight to the retailers or the dispensaries. You know, you have to have the middleman, which is the distributor. So a distribution license, all you really need is a little office space, and you have to have relationships with the growers and the buyers. Okay. So that's a much lower cost, or an easier way to get into the industry. Okay. I would say that, like, say for instance, whatever space that you need, you just need a safe to store your product. Cameras and things like that. So that overall is probably like the most like $50,000 to $100,000 investment to get into the business. Cultivation as a grower, it's a lot more expensive. I have what I consider a small space. I have 8,000 square feet. Okay. Comparable to people who have like 40,000 and 100,000 square feet. But even that was $1 million plus to get into, or to operate my business. So the licensing part, depending on what state you're in, what county you're in, it really gets complicated there, because your city might be like, oh, the application fee is $20,000, or your state might be like, your application is only $3,000. You know, like it varies, but you have to pay all those fees. So, yeah. And then you have to have your location. So however big or however small you go, you have to pay your rent up front. You have to acquire your building before you start, or even get approved for your license, because they want to see, so where are you operating out of? Like, how much is it going to cost? So it can vary between $500,000 to $2-3 million to get into cultivation.
Why did you even get started? What was the kind of impetus for this? And then from the moment you were like, let me do this shit, how long did it take you to kind of kick everything off?
So before I ultimately decided, I was in New York and I was coming back and forth to California, but say it was like 2016 is when I actually like really decided like, oh, cannabis. I had read this book called The Outliers, and
Malcolm Gladwell, right?
Yes, very good. I recommend everyone read it. It sparked something in me that was just like, I knew what my personal goals were, and it was just like to get my family and other people in our culture and just generation in general to be out of this. Like, I feel like my family, like, they were imprisoned for drugs, and, you know, we've just like, we needed to get we need to create generational wealth in a positive manner. Like, okay, yeah, because we were fly as kids and you buy a house off of drug money. Like, that's not okay. Like, you have to build something that's substantial for the rest of your life.
And sustainable.
Exactly. And for your children's lives and your grandchildren's lives. And, like, having a home that's, like, we can pass that down, you know? So I saw, when I read that book, it was really explaining, like, where in your time and your generation, like, how will you navigate and what will be the opportunities that you'll have for your date of birth, like when you were born, when. And I was like, okay, we're not going to get rich off of railroads anymore or oil, because that time is already passed.
Right.
Even technology, for me, I'm not a tech girl. That wasn't something I was into. But cannabis, I knew. I smoked it. I tried to sell it in college. Like, I knew that flower, and I was like, oh yeah, this is not legal yet. It's going to be legal. Right. I need to get into this industry. And I wanted to be that person who was influential. And I knew being a woman in this industry, being a Black woman in this industry, was going to be like, I can be one of the first to do it. And no one understood. Like, they didn't even understand. They were just like, I'm talking to real drug dealers. I'm like, listen, all we need is like $10,000 to apply. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Nobody.
They were like, okay, bitch, right.
Yeah. They're like, girl, have fun. So I saw that. And then when I got to California in like 2016, I talked to everyone and anyone. And I was like, I want to get in the legal cannabis industry, because I knew New York was going to be a long time away,
right?
Which New York and New Jersey are just now legalizing it fully for recreational and allowing applications. So I was just right on time. You know, I came to Cali. It was right when they went recreational. I was looking at every city, every town, and I was like, okay, which town can I afford? And like, even LA I couldn't afford, but I met with the perfect woman. Her name is Kathy Smith, and she mentored me in the beginning, and she basically had a pre-ICO license. She was the first Black woman to have that, and she was like, listen, if you don't apply now, you're not going to, she was like, you're not going to get in. And I was like, I can't afford this. She was like, you'll figure it out. I believe in you. You will figure it out. So in 2018 is actually when I applied for the license. It took 2 years to get approved. I got approved in 2020, and I've been operating. I mean, I built out in 2022 is when we fully built out. This year is like, okay, all of our rooms are built out. Everything's all together. So now this is the first year that we're like fully operating and like.
That's amazing.
Motion. Thank you.
That's a long journey.
It is.
So
And it's still going.
Like 2016. So like 6 years from the first idea, 2 years for the license.
Yeah.
Craziness. I had no idea all this money and time went into this. Because I feel like you see a lot. You don't see women in the industry for sure, but you see a lot of like people with their own brands of edibles and things. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's a different thing too. Like, so my distribution company can actually, like, say, for instance, you're like, listen, I want a Bitches Like Us brand. I can do that.
I might need to do that
and
now.
We could.
Yeah.
Like, we could easily do that. So we can just go buy product, or we can package the product from my facility that we grow.
Right.
And then we create your brand and we get it on shelves and we like market it. But you don't have to have a license and you have to go through everything that I went through.
Because like, you already did the legwork.
Exactly.
That's great. So like potentially you're opening doors for a lot of other women to have brands in this industry because you did go through this whole process.
Yes.
That's dope, because when I was doing the research, I was like, bitch, this looks like a lot of work, but it would be so cool to have that type of thing.
And I recommend that. I feel like, you know, because for me, I love the branding part. I love the brand.
Me too. I'm like such a brand bitch. Yeah. It's like the most fun part. Exactly. We just did a rebrand for the podcast and I was like, in heaven. It's a lot of work though.
It is.
What about like barriers? Because even starting the show, niggas be on some fuck shit. And I can imagine, I mean, me being in the entertainment industry, you meet a lot of people who are like, yeah, I want to help you, but they just want to be next to you.
Yes.
And even before this, when I worked in event planning for nonprofits, even then, oh, I want to mentor you. Oh, I want to do this. And oh, we have these lunch meetings and shit. But it's really like niggas just want your time and they don't plan on helping you.
Exactly.
Tell me some stuff about that. I'm sure you have stories.
So many.
And it's disheartening, right? Yeah. Especially as a woman, especially in this industry, right? Where there's so little representation. You're trying to break in. It's like a waste of your time. It's like going the wrong way down a road and then you have to turn the fuck back around. So what kind of things did you encounter as you were coming up, like as a woman?
Definitely from the beginning, in terms of like people saying they were going to invest and literally wasting your time. I had one guy who was like, he would call me like, I'm in the bank right now. I'm pulling out the money. And I'm like, what?
Send a video or it's not happening.
Like, but he'd like do, and I was like, stop. Like, this is my livelihood. Like, I'm literally like, but even when people would say they were going to give me money, I just never, luckily, I always continued to look and continued to talk to more people because I was just like, I can't depend on this, you know, like, so those kind of situations where they would just straight lie.
Time
like,
wasters.
Time wasting, saying, oh, I'll give you $30,000 because like I had to acquire my building.
Right.
And I flew out to Sacramento and everything, met with these guys. The guy that introduced me to the guys was someone who was interested in me. Mm-mm. And he played games with me as well. So, like, those things happen. And I'm like, because I kept telling, he had a girlfriend. I'm like, I'm not going to date you. I don't want to date you because you have a girlfriend. Like, it's not going to happen. Okay, it doesn't matter. I still want to help you. That was a lie.
I love those lines.
Exactly. Like,
it's always that.
You don't want to help me. You just want to be around me, like you said, or try to attempt to get you. Exactly. You think that I'm automatically going to be like, oh yeah, you helped me meet this person who didn't end up doing anything anyway.
That's sad too, because we're talking about like how hard it is to get into this. And like, someone is in a vulnerable position and you're trying to use that to get some pussy. Like that's some real slimeball shit.
It really is. And that happened a lot until I just literally, I never took it to the heart. I just kept going, like, okay, you said no. I got 5 other people to meet this week and like, let's talk to them. So those things were happening. And then it's like people always lowball you. Like, I feel like I'll watch a man with the same exact product and I know my product is good. I know that we have top quality stuff and they literally be like, oh, just because their ego, like, no, I can't pay more than blah, blah, blah for that. And I'm like, but you would pay for some other guy that has like this name. You'd pay more for that, knowing damn well that my quality is better than that quality. But it's like, it's such a clout chasing boys club kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, because he blah, blah, blah. Like, like they're just so on that. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. And I was like, that's cool because I'll just literally mess with my women. Like the women, anytime I tell the girls like, this is a female-owned business, like whatever. They are supportive, and I love that. I love that about us.
I do too.
Yeah,
it's so important.
Yeah,
because no one else is looking out.
Exactly. Don't get me wrong. Some girls are a little
trust me. But I was just talking about this with somebody. But it's so important to like lift up, like when you're coming up, also like make space for other women, other people of color. And so many people out here, especially in LA, no matter the industry, look at you as competition. And I've never looked at anybody in my life as competition. Like it's me versus me. But people will like slight you for that and like not lift you up because like you're saying, like this is an industry with so few women, like you're my competition now. And that's not how it should be.
And I'll notice that with like influencers and just certain like, cannabis women who are just like, oh wow, she really like, has this and that. And I noticed that when I tried to be in the music industry, like certain things, I was always very ambitious. So it was like whatever industry I chose to be in, I was gonna be successful. And I knew that. I put that in my mind and that's not gonna stop. So there was no one that could stop me then, but I always noticed that in little circles, whether it was men, women, there's always going to be some sort of force pushing against you. And it's like, okay, well, once you have that confidence in yourself, you're like, I don't care about none of y'all. Like, I don't care about nothing y'all got going on. You can't stop this. You cannot stop this
What's
power.
For you is for you.
Exactly.
And if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
Exactly.
So,
period.
If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping, nigga.
Have there ever been any moments where you felt like giving up? Because I know I've had so many moments this year where I was like, bitch, I just want to go the fuck home. I'm over it. Like I was literally, I host a show on LA TV now, but right before I got that job, I was like crying for 45 minutes on my airplane flight to my birthday trip. Like, I'm going to just look into going home when I come home. And then I got the job and I was like, okay, this is a sign.
Yep.
It's like, have you had moments where you were like, bitch, fuck it, I'm out?
Absolutely. I feel like every other week. I'm like, you know, some weeks I am like, can't nothing stop me.
Right.
I'm like, other weeks I'm like, okay, it's too much. Like, what did I get myself into? You know, just let it go. I just want to go on a vacation and look cute and take pictures like everybody else.
Right.
Like, I'm just like, I just want to relax. Like, and Instagram will do it to you for sure.
I know.
So I try to stay off that because that'll be like, I'll look and I'll see it seems like everyone else is just enjoying their life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm in this office all day, every day, barely making any money. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, obviously I got into this to make generational wealth.
Yeah.
When I feel like I can't, there's a time that my mom needs a house right now and I can't afford to do that yet.
Right.
I feel like I'm defeated. So those are things like, am I doing the wrong thing? But it's like, Rome wasn't built in a day. You cannot, you know, just, yeah, it's been this long, but this is a new industry you chose. You want to be innovative. You want to be inspired. It's not going to take 3 years to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to stick with it. So I'll talk myself out of it. I'll listen to a bunch of spiritual, you know, I'll go to God and I'll be like, help me. And literally always he answers me.
Yeah.
Like, when I feel like money is low and I can't pay our bills, I'm like, how? Something will happen and he'll literally, you keep going. I got you.
That's how you know you're on the right path too.
Yeah.
And I relate to that so fucking hard because I'm like, even the podcast, my old co-host tried to steal our show. I had so many fucking things happen the past 2 years, not even just the podcast, everything, health, friends, everybody. And it's just like, bro, like, people don't talk about the struggle of the hustle. It's always like on the other side when people want to listen to you when you've achieved it. But this whole thing, it's not glamorous. It's not fun. I work every day on something for me. Every day. I'm fucking tired, bitch. I don't have a weekend. But it's like every day. But that's like the blood, sweat, and tears you have to put into it when it's your dream and you're like, who said this? Elaine Weltroth. First, only different.
Yeah.
It's a small group. There's not a lot of people you can look to be like, hey, what did you do?
Yeah.
Even like, you know, my industry, influencing, whatever, that whole social media career, there's no fucking blueprint, you know? So it's definitely hard. And I'm glad that you talk about that because there are moments when like you're just fucking crying and you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
I know.
But like the thing about it is, and I fully believe this, is it's just consistency because so many people give up when it gets hard. And if you are consistent, that shit will pop.
Exactly.
Eventually.
And there's you have to look at the small successes of everything that you've had. Because most of the time what we do as humans is we always want more. So when you're living in your moment, like, you probably wanted this at some point. Like, I want a podcast. I want to be able to do this. And now,
a high rise, a puppy.
Exactly. Anything. And then you're doing it and you're like, why is it not purple?
Right.
Like, what?
This is what you asked for, and you don't
exactly.
take time in the moment to appreciate. I'm guilty of that.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
a what's next type of bitch. Oh, cool, you graduated from NYU, Columbia. Everybody else did too.
Yeah.
What's next? What's next? And I don't give myself my flowers. I think it's important, no pun intended.
Yeah.
I think it's important to really recognize like the small steps on the path because look how far you've come now in 2022 from that first idea in 2016 when no one was fucking with your idea, right?
So I remind myself that all the time. Like, you just wanted to get in this industry. You have a building. You're paying employees. Like, you
a boss.
Yeah,
You're a boss, bitch.
Like, just be happy. Be thankful. Be blessed. Like, stay like you're blessed. And I have to remind myself that all the time.
Yeah. What's been the most rewarding part about all of this?
The most rewarding part is definitely seeing my mom and my dad and like just like, oh, I'm so proud of you. I can't believe, like, because I was living on a cot. Like, I was like, before I moved here, it was bad. Like, and nobody would ever have known, but like, you know, I really turned my life around. So I'm just like, thank you. Like, that is the most rewarding part. Like you said, paying my bills every month, being able to live how I want to live, and, you know, a nice apartment, a nice house. Like, this, it's more than enough. Yeah. For real.
I think just even coming from like where we come from, I grew up super poor, and just being able to, I think it's another reminder moment where it's like, bitch, you pay your bills off being yourself. People pay me to talk shit. Yeah. And just be me. Exactly. You're doing what you love with your own company, and people come to you for their paychecks. Like, it's a moment.
She's an icon. She's a legend. And she is the moment.
We're up to our last segment. It's Wish a Bitch Would.
Ride with some hitters and they wish a bitch would.
Wish a bitch would. Ride with some hitters and they wish a bitch would.
It's what you wish these bitches would do. And just off the vibes of the episode, I'm going to say, I wish bitches would believe in themselves regardless of how big your dream seems. Because you had that thought for a reason. It came to you and was in your mind for a reason. And I think a lot of people, like I said, aren't consistent or they are daunted by the odds. And it's like, fuck all that. Like, if you feel it, go for it. It's like, really trust yourself more with what you're capable of, because I think you'll surprise yourself.
I wish a bitch would. I really agree with you. Like, I wish a bitch would stop focusing on other bitches and focus on themselves. Like, if you put that energy into yourself, then there would be no other competition outside of yourself. You would, like, we wouldn't be so catty. I feel like we still have that, even though we're like pro girl and women, you know, like there's still that catty aspect of it. And I do feel like bitches, if you just knew your inner power, then there would be
no threats from anybody else.
There would be no threats.
Yeah.
We'd just be like, kumbaya, and like, for real. For real.
I really love that, because I feel like we need so much more of that. And like I said, that's not my mentality at all. I just don't understand it. But
it's just in general, all around. Like, I feel like everybody needs it.
When there are limited resources, I get it. Like, people get into that crab in a bucket mentality. But we want to stop doing that, bitches. Yeah, let's not.
For real.
Let's not. Well, that's it for our show this week. But thank you all so much for listening. And of course, a very special thank you to this boss bitch, Sakara Barnes.
Thank you.
Where can the listeners find you? Where can they smoke your shit?
So find me on Instagram first, _Sakara, Sakara. And then we have Mother Exotic Flower. So it's spelled out, Mother Exotic and Flower. That's where you can buy the flower. And I'm always posting, like, on my personal page, you'll see more about the company and more about the brand. So if you follow both, you'll definitely get some insight on both.
And you brought goodies today. I'm so excited for these. And they're so cute, the packaging and everything. Thank you. This was so much fun. To everyone out there listening, remember, you're a bad bitch. Now act accordingly. Love yourself, respect yourself, accept yourself. Stay unbossed, unbought, unbothered, and unfuckwittable, because every day is a bad bitch holiday. As always, I'm wishing you cash, coins, creativity, and confidence on your come up this week. And remember, bitches like us do it for bitches like you. We out.
Later. Amen.